Woo! Have we got the
Patreon?
Yes, we've got a
Patreon.
Hello interwebs, it's Scott from Admiralty Entertainment, and today we're taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Luke Skywalker (Crait), as seen in Star Wars The Last Jedi. Given the sequence of the movie this figure comes from, a spoiler warning is in effect for The Last Jedi. The Vintage Collection has been going on and off for nearly a decade now, but its origins really lie with the original trilogy collection's vintage style, I'm using finger quotes, from 2004, not to be confused with the 2019 vintage style, also using finger quotes, which is more of a vintage reproduction line. The style of modern sculpting, painting and articulation continued with the Vintage Saga collection in 2006 and 2007, before being launched as its own thing in 2010, which has come and gone several times over the intervening period. Crait Luke comes on a card styled like an original Star Wars action figure from the 70s and 80s, with a vintageized logo for The Last Jedi, nameplate, and silver border with a nice big photo of Mark Hamill from the film, a Canon logo at the bottom, and a bubble showcasing the figure and accessories. The back of the card continues the silver border motif, with both Star Wars and Vintage Collection logos, a plate that designates this figure as number 146 of the series, and a brief blurb. Celebrate the legacy of the action and adventure-packed space saga from a galaxy far, far away with this collection of premium, highly detailed 3.75-inch scale figures and vehicles, each sold separately subject to availability. And also contains a colourful cross-sell of other figures presented in a similar style to the vintage line. This version shows Luke Skywalker, Crait, Imperial Assault Tank Commander, Death Star Gunner, Chewbacca, R2-D2, and an Imperial Stormtrooper. There's also a whole bunch of legalese stuff there, but nobody cares about that apart from the lawyers. The figure comes with the Skywalker lightsaber in both ignited and hilt-only forms. The hilt has a ring that allows it to fit over the hook on the figure's belt to free up both hands. Oh, sorry Luke, that was insensitive of me. It's still too soon, isn't it? Sorry. The ignited version is a solid piece, so no removable blades here, but the two accessories together do the job just as well as the previous attempts to do an all-in-one lightsaber accessory. The figure itself has plenty of nicely sculpted details. The textures of cloth, the belt, and of course the cloak itself all look fantastic. As for the figure's portrait, well look, we know it's really hard to capture good likenesses at 3 3/4 inch scale, and this particular character design doesn't help any. The sculpting certainly seems to be acceptable, and the facial printing technology certainly helps, but I just don't know whether they've captured the "I've just dyed my beard" look that he had in the film. There does seem to be the odd choice of mud splatter on his boots, given that this is supposed to be him on Crait, where his feet don't disturb the salt. This figure has a ball-jointed head, shoulders with hinge and swivel, elbow hinge and swivel, twist at the wrists, twist at the waist, semi-ball joints at the hips, twist at the top of the thighs, hinge and swivel at the knees, and hinge and swivel at the ankles. Sadly, they still haven't progressed to the rocket ankles that G.I. Joe figures pioneered more than half a decade ago. The cloak is of course plastic, which is my preference, but it does hinder the usefulness of the articulation, especially for a character so fluid in combat in the film. Good luck getting this figure posed into some of the more agile poses from the film. But it does look good in a generic standing position. Whatever you may think about the film itself and the Crait sequence specifically, this is still a decent figure that certainly fills a gap in your Luke Skywalker collection. So, those are our thoughts on the Luke Skywalker Crait figure from Star Wars The Vintage Collection. So what are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you again next time on Admiralty Entertainment.
See you around.